Hey YouTube, Matches 860. Smoking my Rick Black mortar pipe with some Big and Burley, which is tasting awful good in this cooler weather. Giving the Friday Savinelli a well-deserved break. Because I've been torturing it for the last 2 weeks. Really tough to put a terrific pipe down and not use it, but it's way overworked. So we got another Phil story. If you're a first-time viewer, you can search my videos for other Phil stories. My first one was My Friend Phil, and the other one was Another Day with Phil. The story happened, as best I can remember, Columbus Day weekend, 1962. It was a day off from school, and the only day off we got from school after Labor Day, before Thanksgiving, was Columbus Day. It was warm weather, had a light jacket on. Left the house about 8 o'clock in the morning, I think. Scooted over to the neighborhood behind me. And I met up with the only person who appeared to be out and about. The kid who would later be my pea shooting friend. As usual, we were just walking around, trying to figure out what to get into. We headed towards the woods, which was behind his house. We got about maybe 50 feet into the woods, discovered the remnants of a tree house that somebody had built. We sat there looking at it. All it was the platform between 3 trees. Could have been one tree with 3 shoots. The platform wasn't that big. I think it was like 3 by 3. Just enough room for 2 kids to sit on. But there was no way to get up to it. It's like 5, maybe 6 feet off the ground. So my friend thought he might have some pieces of strapping and some nails in his garage. So we go back to his garage and get what we need. Built these steps up to the platform. Get up there, and sure enough, there's more than enough room for both of us. we were enjoying the view, and I guess one of us got down. We started kicking the leaves around the bottom of this. Found a couple of pieces of plywood that obviously had gone to this. Start nailing a wall up here, nailing a wall up there. Looked around a little more and found what was the roof of this thing. Took us a while, but we managed to get the roof up where it was supposed to go, and it just rested on all the other pieces of plywood. It was great. It's probably close to lunchtime. We were sitting in this thing. My friend said, "It'd be great to have our lunch out here." I agreed. So he said, "Why don't we go home? Our mother can make us lunches, and then we can come back and have lunch." So got all excited about that. In the meantime, we heard leaves rustling. Went and got down out of the treehouse, and here comes Phil. Got to take a break here and explain a little bit about my relationship with Phil. I was born 1955 in February. Phil was born the following Christmas. When 1960 came along, I went off to school thinking that Phil was going to be in my class. But I guess by school standards, even though we were born in the same year, he wasn't ready yet. I don't know that he was ever ready. Anyway, once school started, Phil and I kind of drifted apart and went separate ways. We still got together now and then, but it wasn't like it was before. I had other friends in the neighborhood, so. Anyway, Phil's looking at the treehouse, and we filled Phil in on what we planned on doing about lunch. He asked if he could join us. So we said, yeah, there's room for another person up there. Go home, get your lunch, come back. I go running home. My mother made me a sandwich, threw in some corn chips or something and a drink. Go flying back to the treehouse, and my friend meets me there. He had like a tuna fish sandwich and a bag of little gherkin pickles and potato chips, and we were going to have a blast. No sign of Phil just yet. We climb up into the treehouse. Lunch never tasted so good. Beautiful day. We were kind of worn out from the work we had done. Sitting there enjoying the moment. We hear the leaves rustling again. Here comes Phil. Phil climbs up. My friend and I kind of scooted our butts over so that Phil would have some room. He pulls this baggie out of his jacket pocket. My friend and I are both looking at it. Couldn't really make out what he had. He stuck his hand in and starts putting stuff in his mouth, and there was this tremendous odor of peanut butter. We kept looking. Phil had made peanut butter crackers, and he threw in some candy orange slices. They're like gumdrops with the sugar coating on them. Those had peanut butter all over them. He had it on his hands, he had it on his face, it was getting on his clothes. I looked at my friend, he looked like he was turning green. Next thing I know, he's got his foot on Phil's hip, and he just shot Phil right out of the treehouse. The vision that's etched in my mind is Phil in midair outside the treehouse, clutching his bag of garbage there that he brought. Phil hit the ground, knocked the wind out of him. When he got his breath back, he was screaming bloody murder. "What'd you do that for? What'd you do that for?" My friend says, "That was disgusting." Phil headed for home, taking the rest of his lunch with him. And that's really the last full kind of story that I remember with Phil. I got some little snippets of memories, of course, one of which will show up in my next video. Such fun. So, I'm going to finish my Big and Burly in my Rick Black Morta pipe. I'll wish you all a great weekend, and thanks as always for watching.